Welcome to Season Chasers. I'm Rob Freeman. Those that love nature and outdoor sports spend a lot of quality time looking for adventures throughout the year. The more you study, the more you learn about the peak seasons in nature. It's fun to know when it's best to go fishing or hunting, when it's time to pick blueberries, wild mushrooms, or native pecans. Sometimes the peak season is close to home, right in your own backyard, or it could be miles away near the mountains and the sea. Either way, this program will chase the seasons where the action is hot.
Season is early spring. We're just starting to see a little bit of green up, and everybody's wanting to get outside and enjoy some of the better weather that we hope we're going to have a lot of in the days to come. Today on Season Chasers, we've got some new revelations about last year's monster hunt at Lake Clark, Alaska. We tied into it just a day or two after I left, wouldn't you know? But today we've got some new information about how one of our nets got really torn up in last year's monster hunt and what you can do to get involved in this year's hunt. But first, we're going to go to the gun counter at John's Sports Center, where we've got a brand new feature on Season Chasers. We're talking to Adam today, where he's going to show us the gun of the week. And this week's gun is actually a crossbow, but it's crossbow season for turkeys, and we're going to have some fun with that. Crossbow season on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, the big advantage of 10-point crossbows, not only are they made in the USA, every piece from nuts, bolts, string, optics, they're all made in the USA. The big advantage is they have built-in cockers, or rope cockers, where we don't have to carry a separate set of ropes with us in our pocket or be fumbling around to get it. Each one has a cocking device built into it, which is a feature no other bow company has out there.
So as far as weapons go, this is probably one of the quietest ones you've got in the shop.
The 10-point by far is the quietest one. They've really improved it in 2014. They've added these rubberized hand guards. Not only protects your hand, but it also dampens the vibration from the barrel, from the top of the crossbow also. There are other limb-saving devices we can put in there to quiet them down more, but basically, if it needs to be any quieter, the deer already knows you're there.
So these are ready to go right off the rack here at John's?
Out of the box, ready to go. 10-point every one they build. It's actually bore-sighted and sighted in and test-fired at the factory before it's shipped to us. We then reassemble just the front part of the bow here in the shop, shoot it in the back room to double-check everything and make sure it's on and ready to go as far as that goes.
Now, I understand your family's had some success recently with the crossbow.
We've had good luck. My daughter got to experience for the first time this year what rut really is as far as the time to hunt during that year. We got to go late October, early November, see the deer chase, see them fight, actually experience a hunt. She was lucky enough to harvest a good buck with a crossbow, and that experience wouldn't have happened if it wouldn't have been for the season that Kansas allowed, and then also good equipment on top of it.
And when you get a new 10-point crossbow here at John's, we've got all the accessories to customize it for whatever you're going to be using it for.
There's a lot of accessories to go for sure. Biggest selection be broadhead choice. We found that anything in the 100 grain weight to 125, but especially the 100 grain weight is good. Rage, new archery products. There's several good ones out there. We found that the expandables have been very effective, especially as accurate as the 10-point bows are out of the box.
But the good thing about shooting these is there's absolutely no recoil when it comes to shooting them.
Yeah, no recoil, good trigger pull, so you can truly concentrate on your target and make an ethical shot each time.
If you'd like more information on the gun of the week or any of the other guns in stock, or for special orders, stop by John's Sports Center at 18th and Broadway in Pittsburgh for more information. And tune in to Season Chasers next week for next week's Gun of the Week from John's Sports Center. Now, what's the plan here, Lee?
Well, like I said, I don't know whether to get on the airplane or to go over to the psychiatric hospital and have a CAT scan. But we're going to go attempt to see if we can catch the Lake Clark monster out at Lake Clark by Non-Dalton area, about 210 miles southwest of here.
It's one of the most beautiful areas of Alaska.
Oh, it's world-class everything, scenery, fishing.
Now, we're not going to try to catch this guy on hook and line. What's the plan?
No,
here?
we're going to net him with basically a shark net. It's 150 feet long, 20 feet deep, with 18-inch mesh size, from corner to corner.
So you're calling this in advance. That's the plan.
That's the plan. Once we get him in the net, it's like the dog. I asked my dog, chasing cars, I said, what are you going to do if you catch it? dog never answers me, and I see why, because I don't have an answer either what I'm going to do. We're going to play it all by ear, kind of like new to us.
We load up all of our backpacks, camping equipment, fishing gear, basic food supplies, and anything else we think we need to stay 9 days in the remote Alaska bear country near Lake Clark. There are no grocery stores where we're going, but there's natural foods everywhere for those who know just where to look. These mountain ranges are enough to keep most visitors from flying down here. Even in the summer, these mountains, volcanoes, and glaciers pack plenty of snow and ice. We fly through Lake Clark Pass over some really rugged terrain. No roads, gas stations, rest stops, or other signs of life on this whole flight. But we make it all the way for our first glimpse of Lake Clark. I've been invited to bring the HD video gear and go along on the hunt for the Lake Clark monster. It's a colony of giant fish that are blamed for killing a number of natives over the past 200 years. Some say that the giant beasts are predators and fierce man-killers, but our group pretty much believes that they're more likely to be giant sturgeon that feed on the millions of red salmon that spawn and die in Lake Clark every year. Whatever they are, 2,000 pounds is way too big to handle with hook and line. So Lee and his 2 boys brought along a giant net to try to catch this monster. That's all. The whole point of fishing is getting out and get as big a fish as you can find. And we think there's something up here maybe big as a ton. And we've got a net or 2 right here that we think is going to handle them. So Lee's got it all set for us. We've got all kinds of help here. We've got our camp established, and we're going to have some fun and share it with you today on Season Chasers, where we study, learn, and share the great outdoors. Thanks for coming along today from Lake Clark, Alaska. We're camping out on private native-owned land near a spot where we think the big fish will travel. We're about a 4-mile walk from the nearest native village of Non-Dalton. Our camp has had a few visitors by boat. One evening, we got a visit from Raleigh, who hiked over to our camp with a couple of real Alaska dogs. Raleigh's a longtime resident, and we asked him what he knew about this monster.
They braided this damn sinew or something up really long, tied a rock to it, chopped a hole, and they were all out there feeding this dang rock down there, right? And they're letting it down, and then that guy's tunk, it stopped, right? He's going, and this lady right then, this lady, one of the villagers walked off the ice to go back over to the fire and change her infant. I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but and the one witness that survived said that it, for a lack of a better way to say it, it just, the ice exploded where those guys were all standing, and everybody went into that hole, and everybody that was on the ice was gone. They all went through the ice on that. And then another one that stuck in my mind was they were up in Chilitna Bay somewhere washing caribou guts, these 2 women, and all of a sudden there was a big splash. They both went down, and only one of them came up, and they never did find that. They were all up there, and all their fish holes were in a line,
Right.
and you know, and they were all the fish holes were in a line, and they had chummed up that fish hole that
Eugene was on the outside.
right on.
He had wolf snare for line.
Right, had a wolf snare for a line and a leader. Chummed up his hole real good, and they stirred it up, you know, and got it going down there, and those guys were all standing. The guys on the lower end they started yelling, and that's when that water started, the spurts, and then it all simultaneously had these spouts coming out of the ice holes.
First it went dry.
No, his went dry. When it got to his, it pulled him down to the ice.
Something
and
grabbed his lure,
right,
and then cut that wolf snare, which is what, 250-pound
That's
test?
got to be
Cut
2
that
or
wolf snare
300
fucking
pound
clean. He
test,
says, when he got pulled out all the way to his shoulder in the hole,
yeah.
he never got, his ice hole was dry.
His hand,
whatever
his
whatever
arm
had
was
him,
dry.
cut that wolf snare like it was like a piece of twine. And then when he
That's
come
some
back
power,
up, then
huh?
that water shot out of the hole, for like 15, 20 seconds, like a water fountain.
Yeah, all the holes.
They all went dry.
All of them went.
All
yeah.
went dry. Something cut his whoop snare in half.
Have it over the edge, and seat clamps, you know, which I would have done, but he was just pinging right through the boat, and that thing swam underneath the boat. I mean, it was under its own power, whatever it was.
What we've got is musk ox roast,
From Nunivak Island.
and then fresh lake trout here from Lake Clark. And we've got some forget-me-nots on the top of there, and some wild roses, some wild shallots that we found, and Martin put some salt and pepper on there just right. Got something to go with our fire-baked beans, and a little bit of mashed potatoes. And I think we're going to be styling out here in the woods.
Got some fish beans there. Isn't that pretty?
I don't
That
think
filet?
we're not suffering at all.
You couldn't buy this in a restaurant, this meal. The only place that's available is here in Alaska.
You got to come out and you got to catch it, and then you can enjoy it like this, and it's better fresh than it is ever frozen. Bravo, bravo.
Bravo, it's all good. No? If we get to keep it, and I'll give it to that brown bear over there with the 2 cubs, that'll be even better. You want to watch these 4 chairs empty, watch somebody yell, bear, cubs.
When you don't have roads, here's how Alaskans move around heavy equipment. A sturdy barge with this extension gets it done. It's mid-June, and we've had all kinds of weather. We kind of expected just about everything on this trip. First few days it was really sunny and abnormally warm. We think yesterday it got up to about 80 degrees. And then the wind picked up, and the clouds came in, and we heard something pretty rare for Alaska, some claps of thunder in the distance. And that went on a little bit last night and early this morning. But today the wind switched, we think out of the east, and brought in some low clouds and some light rain. It's really not enough to make the rocks wet here, but it's just enough to make it noticeably different. But like I said, on a trip like this in Alaska, you pretty much plan for everything. And this cloudy and drizzly weather is pretty much what I expected, but it's been probably the minority of the time. So we're gonna go try some spots that we really like around here. Monster hunting, we've got the nets out going on day number 3, and we decided we'd go ahead and keep them in the same place, let them fish for a while. We've got a really deep channel between this barrier island that we're on and part of the main shoreline here, and it's shallow water pretty much on either side of it, and if anything really big is moving through here, I think it's going to be through that channel. So today we're chasing giant lake trout and northern pike. It's all coming up today on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along. Here's where we get our gasoline down here, from a tanker plane.
Extreme environments can cause a spontaneous change in DNA, resulting in unexpected power and agility. Introducing the all-new, all-powerful Gator RSX 850i. 62 horsepower, a fully independent multi-link suspension, and a top speed of 53 miles per hour. It's a whole new species of Gator.
It's Chick Days at Blue Ribbon Farm and Home in Pittsburgh. All the chicken supplies you need to get started. Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has what you need to feed the wild birds. Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has what you need to plant a beautiful garden. Seeds, plants, fertilizer, and weed control for your lawn.
Don't forget Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has a huge selection of food for dogs.
Whether you have a lap dog, a sport dog, chickens, or a goofy goat, Blue Ribbon Farm and Home has all the feeds you'll ever need.
You talk about a goofy goat, and this is the goofy goat right here.
During the course of the activities, we find the time for a little bank fishing, Alaska style, on comfortable rocks.
It's a double.
Wow, good one. Bring him on up here. Good job. Keep us on there. Yeah, yeah. Come on up. Come on up, buddy. Come on, buddy. Okay, you got him. You got him. Hold still. Good job, man. Did it, Johnny. Now, this is a lake trout. And Johnny's been working on a big one off this point. Hooked one up last night he thought was good like this. And he got this one all the way to the shore. What were you thinking about when you hooked into that one?
John, that's something good. Just another day in paradise.
Wow. Well, you're looking at the Kansas delegation that's going to be on this year's 2014 Lake Clark, Alaska Monster Hunt. And I was privileged to go along on 2 trips, non-Dalton, Alaska last year. This year, Jason Ward from Pitt State's been invited to go, and he's been on a couple of trips to Alaska in the past, and we know he can put up with what he's going to be going through. But he's an experienced wildlife photographer that's helped me on the show for a long, long time, and we're going to try to catch every angle of this year's hunt using some visual cameras and some underwater capabilities. We're really looking forward to telling the story about what's going on this summer.
Today we're at Kearney Smith Stadium at Pittsburgh State University in southeast Kansas. I'd like to demonstrate here on the football field just the size and the scale of the net that we're using for this Lake Clark Monster Hunt. And the end of this net is right here about the goal line, and it goes clear out to midfield. It's 150 feet of length, and we've got 20 feet that it hangs down in the water from the float line down here to the lead line. This is the net that we used last year. And this is one of the mysteries of this hunt. We got a hit and pulled this net against the current about a half a mile. You can see there's about a 10-foot section of the meshes that have been completely separated from the bottom lead line. And the way this, I don't know really anything about how nets are designed to fail, but this one failed in a really unusual way. Broke all the meshes across the bottom of the net, and there's a cut up this way and a cut about 10 feet up this way with all of this mangled net hanging in the middle. Now whatever caused this got away. So we redesigned the nets. This one's being retired because of the failures that it had, but we've got the same dimensions coming, only we've got double the strength meshes. And so that's part of the research that goes into this. The people that started this expedition have been on this job about 6 years now. And that's what we've come to. We think the fish that we're after is way too big for hook and line. It's going to require a magnum-sized net like this. The company that built this net and its replacement said it's the biggest one they've ever delivered. So if we catch the fish that we're after, and it's in the 2,000 pounds range, it's going to be the largest fish ever caught, freshwater fish, in North America. The largest record that in recent history dates back to the 1800s, and it was about a 1,400-pound sturgeon. So we think these Lake Clark fish have been undisturbed for a number of years, and they just keep growing larger and larger on this salmon supply. And we're going to try to put out a better net in this year's expedition and try to get in their way and bring back video proof of the Lake Clark monster. I don't know what caused it. Sure did mess it up. These meshes have been really put through a lot of trauma, stretched and broken, and so we're going to have 2 double strength nets and the other one like this standing by that didn't get hit and didn't suffer this kind of damage. But this kind of hole, it's a big mystery. This is the biggest wildlife mystery of North America. And our expedition from Jason Ward here from Pittsburgh State University and myself, joining 3 Anchorage residents and the native guides we have up in non-Dalton, Alaska,
We're going out for this thing in the month of June, and we need your help in joining our Kickstarter program and being backers so we can spend more time on the water and have a better chance of getting something big in one of these lakes.
We're asking you to be a part of history. We're out to solve a mystery in remote Alaska that's deadlier and much bigger than Bigfoot.
Adventure trip into the unknown. We're going to go set a couple nets and see if we can locate the Lake Clark monster. I got 250-foot nets. I'll put anchors on each end. We'll set them at 10, 20 feet of water. And then we're just going to sit on them. And if we get something in the net, we're just going to play it by ear. You know, the chase is on. And too many stories, too many incidents over the last 200 years for not to be something in here big.
This is truly the biggest wildlife mystery in North America. It's a colony of giant fish blamed on the deaths of many Athabascan native villagers over the last 200 years. We believe these fish have been surviving for many years and growing larger on the sockeye salmon from Alaska's Bristol Bay that spawn and die every year in Lake Clark. A 20-foot, 2,000-pound fish is way too big for hook and line. So we're using giant gill nets to prove the existence of these super-sized monsters.
2014 will be our 6th year of our attempt to catch the Lake Clark monster. We fished for it for 5 years before we even got a whiff of it last fall, when we finally tied up with it and it tore us up.
Today we're at Kearney Smith Stadium at Pittsburgh State University in southeast Kansas. And we'd like to demonstrate here on the football field just the size and the scale of the net that we're using for this Lake Clark monster hunt. And the end of this net is right here about the goal line, and it goes clear out to midfield. That's 150 feet of length, and we've got 20 feet that it hangs down in the water from the float line down here to the lead line. This is the net that we used last year, and this is one of the mysteries of this hunt. We got a hit, and it pulled this net against the current about a half a mile. The anchor lines were broken off, and there was this odd-shaped hole in it that's about 10 feet wide at the bottom of the net, and there's 2 V-shaped holes that go up here through the meshes. And these have been really extended, and there's quite a bit of failure here from a lot of pressure. We've redesigned our anchors to a breakaway system so that if this gets pulled up against the current again, it's unlikely to get caught on rocks and allow whatever it is to go through our meshes. We've had new nets designed that have double the strength and double the number of meshes here. It's the same scale and everything. 2014, we're going to start out where we left off last year. We're uniquely suited, our group, to go after this, and it's part of about a 5 or 6 year expedition. I only got to go for the first time last year, but this year we've added another Kansan to the expedition, and Jason Ward from Pittsburgh State is going to be joining us in the June hunt this year with some underwater angles and some additional high-quality videos of our hunt. Biggest fish ever caught freshwater.
Here are the double-strength giant custom nets that we had made this winter down in Louisiana. We want to set them again on this summer's expedition and catch the biggest freshwater fish in North America. We think they're a colony of giant white sturgeon, prehistoric-looking fish. Some sources describe sturgeon as scavengers, but there are other sturgeon varieties found in Russia and China that are predators with rows of shark-like teeth. All over the world, it's clear that sturgeon love salmon and salmon eggs, and Lake Clark has one of Alaska's best supplies of both.
Well, we need some help on this, and that's what we're coming to you about. Is we're going to do probably one of the very first serious scientific expeditions prolonged. Now, we've been out here, we did a 9-day trip in June and now an 8 or 9-day trip in August. And we've been out here searching for this Lake Clark monster just about as long as anyone has been able to so far. But if we got 30 or 60 or 45 days of prime time to work with next year, that really improves our odds of tying into this monster.
Well, I call it tow. T-O-W. Time on the water. The more tow you can put in, the better your chances of getting them.
And there's a number of ways that you can get involved in this. So look at the some of the contact information on the screen here, and there's a number of different levels that you can participate, from individuals, clear up to corporations. And these dying sockeye salmon that come in from the Bristol Bay Run are going to provide a tremendous food source over the winter as they die and fall to the bottom of this lake. The sturgeon are scavengers and have this tremendous food supply to sustain them, and the more they got food, the bigger they get. So this is really, really Alaska's largest wildlife mystery, and we're going to keep hunting on this, and like to have as many people contribute to this as possible and help us bring back proof of the Lake Clark monster.
We hope to have better success this year, and we feel confident our new system will work. Thanks for watching our video, the Lake Clark Monster Crew.
If you'd like to be a part of the monster hunt, go to our Facebook page and click on the Kickstarter link. We have categories for individuals all the way up to corporate backers. High adventure from Alaska on Season Chasers. Thanks for coming along.
Waka waka.
Tune in each week for some of the stuff you just won't see on other shows. Outdoors, wildlife, and a life of adventure. Being on the lookout for natural foods and making the most of what the wildlife provides. Study, learn, and share the great outdoors with someone who's important to you.